All right. Well, welcome back to the Mad Maker Show, guys. We have a full panel of insane crazies here today, and I appreciate them coming on. We've been chatting here and just bantering behind the scenes. This is episode number 50. So that's a pretty good roundabout landmark, episode to sort of do this thing. JP was mentioning months ago we should do some sort of like gathering of people that have been on the show and just update and talk a little bit. Well, I figured let's do it, on the 50th. So with that said, I can hear my echo. Somebody's echoing. It's Daniel Harju. Is it? No, he's muted. All right. In any event, it's Doc Roll.
What? I got my headphones plugged in.
Okay. Who's the person? Hey. Oh, everybody's taken care of. So, the Mad Maker Show, we've interviewed all the guests that we have here today, and it's really an extraordinary thing because all these people create in their homes, their shops. They create fantastic items and they share it on social media. So, I feel very lucky to have them back, friends, makers, and see what they've been up to since last we spoke and see, what the story is. Before I do that, though, I posted a little thing on a private group here about John Be Happy. But I wanted to point out that he's now producing wax, all natural beeswax. And I'm going to link, or Matt will link. This is, I haven't even made a dent into it. This is the soft. This is all natural product, homemade. He's got his own hives. And this is the soft wax. And the hard wax comes in this. Look how cool that is. So I'm going to link it so you guys can check it out. Be Happy Woodworking and Honeybees. That's for you, John. Be happy. All right. JP. You're muted.
I am. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. It has been a while. I'm here with my man Grafton Mug, as always. Well, I've not been up to much. I'm very, very tired at the moment, so let's see if I can do this. My YouTube channel is JP Woodwork. My Twitter and Instagram is JP_Woodwork. I'm 1/3 of the Makers International podcast at the moment. At the moment, we've got guest hosts. We're coming up to the end of our second year. The website for that is makersinternationalpodcast.com. My personal website is jp-woodwork.com. Both websites are run by Steve Nealon at Harnell Media. Found at harnellmedia.com. I just want to give a quick shout out to Anna from Anna's Workshop. She's Anna Brazzi something or other. I gave her a shout out on my Instagram. She's in the chat now. So I'll post her Instagram feed over on there in the 2 secs. She's a big supporter of the community and deserves some love back. So yeah. That's about it. I've given her a shout out everywhere I have possible lately, so why not do it here?
So look, here's the thing. When we started this, JP, I called on JP and I said, JP, I'd like to do a show, and we should name it something. Let's figure it out, blah, blah. And I thought, remember the Mad magazines, guys?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Those are great.
Yep. Used to read it all the time.
Yeah. So I was thinking in terms of that kookiness that's funny to say, but that's the first thing I think of, that mad scientist sort of mad, and that's kind of, it's an obvious thing that's what I'm going for with this. Yeah. Anybody, you can all jump in. It doesn't matter.
That is certainly the vibe.
Because when you're looking out from your perspective, you may think, they always say that your perception of yourself and the world is quite skewed. It's funny because I was talking to Steve Nealon about that just earlier on, and somehow it comes up. Our perception, we have a notion, but we don't know how other people receive information and disseminate it in their minds. How accurate is it from its source going out? You know, it's a pretty obvious thing because it says Mad Maker on it. So for goodness sakes, but still, with that said, what have you guys been up to? We'll start with let's see. Let me see. We should
before you do that, can I make a suggestion?
Dang it, JP! I'm trying to do a show here, and
can everyone plug their social medias first?
Okay, you know what? We'll do that. So we'll start with let's start with Ashley, and we'll work our way down. You guys, I wanted to be like a cage fight sort of thing, and JP bringing order and organization to our thing. So we'll start with.
You just wanted us to talk over each other.
Yeah, well, you know, kind of, sort of, but being kind and allowing, but that never works out. So we'll start with Ashley, and we'll work our way down. So we have Ashley, we have Bernie, we have Bob, we have Daniel Harju, we have Doc, we have Javi, we've got Jim, we've got JP.
I've done mine.
Well, JP did his, and we got Matt Haas. So we'll do in that order. Hit us with it, Ashley.
All right. Well, my Instagram and my YouTube channel are both Chip Builds. And if you want to see what I think about on Twitter, it's still Ash Design.
Next.
Okay, that must be me. I am Bernie Solo, but my socials are all Works by Solo. And also the website is worksbysolo.com. So it's the same across all socials that I'm on, including Facebook.
Nice. Bob?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, here we go. My YouTube is Bob Lee's Woodshop. My Instagram is R.E. Lee, and my Facebook is just Bob Lee Salem.
Harju.
Daniel Harju. On Instagram, I'm at Harju Daniel. And then you can see all our regular work that we do at the shop at countrybed.com and the Country Bed Shop on Facebook. So that's pretty much where I am.
Doc Jared Hildebrand.
I'm JP Woodwork. No, sorry. Got stuck in that loop. No, Jared Hildebrand on Instagram and YouTube. Isn't that nice?
Convenient.
Javier Unzueta.
Good evening, one and all. My name is Javier Unzueta with Javi's Woodshop on YouTube. Join me on a never-ending quest to organize my shop and make room for, well, more stuff.
Jim Dockrell.
Jim Dockrell on YouTube, Watertone Workshop on Instagram, and I have a blog called something. I don't know what it is, but you can get it through my YouTube homepage.
Isn't it Watertone? I think that because
Watertone is on Instagram, and my blog is. Let me see here.
Oh well, goodness sakes, Jim.
When was the last time?
Watertoneworkshop.blogspot.com.
All right.
I don't keep up with the blog too much.
You know what I'll do is at the end. Sorry, Matt, I'm coming to you right now. What I'll do is I'll go through and link everybody up afterwards in the description. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I think I did that. So forget what I just said live on air. Matt.
Hi everyone, Matt Haas, Awesome Wood Things. Awesome Wood Things is where you'll find me, primarily on YouTube. Awesome Wood Things on Facebook. I have an Instagram. That's my personal Instagram, so you'll get some woodworking and some other stuff on there. That's kind of a hard one to grapple with. It's Matthew Haas Geek on Instagram, so that's where you'll find me. And if you're not quite sure, go to awesomewoodthings.com.
And on Patreon.
And Patreon, patreon.com/awesomewoodthings.
So listen, I want to reiterate again, you guys, I really appreciate you coming on. So I'm inspired by if I've reached out, if I communicate with you guys, interact with you guys, it's because I appreciate the things that you create and the inspiration that you bring in your own, different ways. So I want to put that out there. just so that you know, right? Because tomorrow the meteorite may hit, and you'll never know. Well, just to reiterate that. So with that said, I guess I want to touch on what you guys have been up to, and just give us what you've been up to, and then we'll have a little after we do that. We'll go down the line and ask what everyone's been up to, whatever you want to share. Just kick back, conversation and then we'll open it up so that we all have a little conversation topical or whatnot, and get some questions in, and that'll be the thing. So we'll do this. Who should we start with? We'll do it like a JP. Who do we start with first?
It's up to you, mate. It's your show.
Oh Jesus! When I say that, you very difficult today.
All right, so since we've last talked, I've been up to a couple things. I'm just gonna jump right in while you guys have your marital squabbles.
Very rude, by the way, Doc.
Very rude, but also needed to happen. So I'm just gonna take the bull by the horns here. Since we last spoke, I have a new job now.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's different. I started at a company that I'm never gonna get to tend to because of the new job. When I had some time, my making time is going to be scaled back a little bit, especially in the upcoming 2 years. But at the same time, my work is out in the field, so it's a good change and good for the family, and so we're happy with that. I have guest hosted the show several times.
True.
And did a damn good job too.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you something. It is not easy. The JP job is not easy.
Don't know if that's bragging or complaining.
No. I don't do it nearly as well as him. I'm just saying it for JP's sake that is not an easy thing to do. So,
gee, what does that mean?
That means that it's hard to work behind the scenes while you're up front. Just blip, 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 blip. Oh, can you send him a link? Okay, yeah, because I'm your secretary. Hold on. Somehow I manage. But JP, boy, he's right on top of that. Sometimes he's not even on the show. He's just in the chat, and he'll throw up links to people's Instagrams faster than I can find them.
Freaking Ed McMahon never had to send out links.
Yeah, he just stood there drunk. It was way easier.
JP doesn't get half the respect he deserves, especially from that Seaside Rick guy.
Yeah, very true. He just sits there playing with his router, and that's not. Funny enough, that's not a euphemism.
Oh, wait a second. What So JP, in all seriousness, all joking aside, why are you so damn tired?
Just had a lot going on. My sister got married recently, and we just had guests here, so just been running around like a blue ass fly, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not to you, did she?
No. She actually got married to an Australian.
It's not the same as Canada, Jim.
Yeah, we're not Canada.
That British tradition,
So yeah, she's going to be emigrating to Australia soon. So,
well, that's south of Florida, isn't
it? Yeah,
it's about the farthest south.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Yep, south of me.
So what else, JP? What else have you been?
What else have I been doing? Well, I did this today, and I've got a video coming up for that.
Very nice.
Nice.
That's a beautiful ashtray.
Yeah, it's a big ashtray.
Show it one more time, JP. Very cool, dude. You glued it up and did the whole nine, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you done?
Yeah, I can put my my vape right inside of it.
Have you done the segmented thing before?
No, never done segmenting before. The actual segmented ring was already glued up, but obviously you had to glue the segmented ring to that. I got that from when I was at the UK and Ireland Wood Turning Symposium a few months back. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So, but before that, I mean, I haven't done any making for about just over a month now. I've got cellulitis in my left leg, and then I got the all clear from that. And then the day after that, I got diagnosed with tennis elbows, which means I couldn't use my arm in any way. Now I've finally started getting used to my arm again, and it started hurting. I mean, I still never got the all clear from the doctor, but I just couldn't stay out of the workshop no longer. I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
So
Not a far distance to go.
yeah. But in October, the 14th, I think it is, I'm doing a demonstration for Record Power in London, a Skull Sword demo over the weekend. So that's going to be fun.
Well, awesome, dude.
Yeah.
There's good things down the pike for sure. I love that.
Yeah,
You're also doing something with another company, no?
no.
Okay. Well, I thought that there was like a Easy Wood Tools or something going on.
Oh yeah, I've got Easy Wood Tools of kind of helping me out with my channel, but that Yorkshire Grit are doing that as well. They've obviously brought out their microfine now for the resin lovers and things like that. But there's also I've got to say there's kind of a misconception with Yorkshire Grit about wood turning. It's not really just for wood. You can use it on metals, plastics, all sorts, like for polishing metal and things like that.
All right, awesome.
But yeah.
Let's go over to Bernie. Bernie, it's been a while. What's been going on?
Oh, I've just, like I said, I've just got some life going on here with the teenage kids, and my wife's been dealing with some chemotherapy lately, so it's keeping us busy. We found a couple of stray kittens, which my daughter's trying to get them to, come back around, because I don't know if the mom cat left them or some people dropped them off or what happened, but they were too young to be separated. But anyway, so she's doing that, and my son's in first year of college, and so it's just a lot of life going on. And then just doing some making in between, and I accidentally come upon a wood lathe, which I hadn't planned on doing, but so many turners are out there that I figured I might as well give it a try. So the lathe was the cheapest part, I found out. The tools, the sharpening tools, all the other stuff that goes along with it cost more than the actual lathe was, because it was a high school was cleaning out the shop, and there was an auction. So they were getting rid of some of those kind of an industrial, it's an old Rockwell, like a Delta Rockwell lathe, like they would have in a school shop, so it's more like a spindle lathe. It's not real tall. I think the biggest thing you can fit on there is a 12-inch. So it's not like the newer ones. I think it's probably from like the 1970s or something like that. But it's still fun to play with. It's super powerful. It's a belt drive. It's got a big motor in it and stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of help and tips from the wood turners in the community, which is great. And there's also several other people that are just starting to turn too. So we got other people that are kind of, as they say, going down that rabbit hole with wood turning. So it's a lot of fun, and learning to sharpen the tools. I think that was a big deal. So a lot of the stuff is not really video quality type stuff. Just learning, just playing around with things. So, and I also have a metal lathe, which I started to play with, which I bought an old South Bend. That was, I don't know, several months ago, doing that. So that's just some experimenting. So I'm going to be doing some projects, videos with the wood lathe and the metal lathe especially, pretty soon. So I was already making some tools for that. And there's been some stuff because school's starting. There's two school projects that I'm working on, which might be videos, maybe. And let's see. Oh, yeah, and with school too, the robotics season with First Robotics, I'm going to be involved in that again this year. So doing something, I don't know what. So there'll be probably maybe some parts. I'll be doing some CNC stuff on my CNC router, not a mill, but maybe cutting some plastic parts out and stuff like that. So that should be some interesting video stuff, I think. Somebody might want to see. So, and I still owe Steve Twidell a banana. So if he's listening to this at all, I haven't forgot about that. He challenged me to make a banana on the
He's not only listening, he's brought it up in the chat.
I can't see the chat for some reason. I don't see the chat. I'm not sure how do I turn that on?
You have to
go
actually
to
pull it up on
public page.
YouTube.
Oh, you got to do that. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so
Or you can look over my shoulder. I'm trying to run the feed live.
Oh, look at me. Yeah.
that's super.
Oh, look at that. Wow. It's like an
Inception.
infinity mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I got a lot of little things going on, and I hope to be putting some more video content out on YouTube because I probably have video footage for 5 projects that are partially finished, and so yeah, it's just real busy, like a lot of you guys. I'm sure you can understand all that stuff, and I can't say that I'm making a living at anything at the moment, so I don't know if I qualify as being partially retired, but I'm hopefully this. The making will eventually. Maybe I'll get some customers, to do some projects for and things like that. So, but just having a lot of fun. Like I said, just enjoying life, and the family life is keeping me pretty busy. So, but it's really enjoyable. It's amazing with teenagers. It's crazy one minute, and the next minute it's you're amazed at what they can do and their accomplishments. So it's real rewarding.
When you were here on the show for your interview, we were. Was it with Doc or JP?
I think JP was on when I was on.
Yeah.
You had a situation where you had the lights go out because of some sort of storm or something.
Right. Yeah.
Running off a generator.
And you ran off a generator.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, we were like hoping that it wouldn't drop. So it was pretty crazy.
He had his kids on bikes outside.
Yeah, doing that. I don't know. This whole hurricane thing, though, what's going on with down south? I mean, there's going to be some people with generators going pretty soon, right?
That's true. Well, today, not only, so I'd like to mention this. What did we just? Oh, okay. Today it's actually 9/11. So it's that date, and now there's a hurricane coming. It's like all catastrophes, all in one.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a heavy day on its own merit. But there's a hurricane coming up, North Carolina, South Carolina area. The cone. Is that what the story is, guys? Does anybody here know?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's headed toward North Carolina.
It's headed
Currently.
toward North Carolina. Yeah, we had one last year. I just about filmed as much as I could with it, and it went off to the West Coast, and still shingles. It was just ask Javi. It was insane, wasn't it?
It was insane.
And we were still quite ways away from it, but Florida is kind of, it is what it is, it's a peninsula. So, boy, that's some heavy stuff. So we'll move over to, let me see. We'll move over to Ashley. Ashley, it's been a while too. What's been going on with you?
Nothing too crazy. I have been looking for a new job, so that's been kind of touch and go at the moment. But I recently got some free metalworking tools, so I've been learning to weld, which is harder than I thought it was going to be. But at the moment too, I'm working on making some travel ukuleles. So these are like the base stock of it out of solid wood.
Cute.
So just trying to live life,
Awesome. Any other goodies? The pens that you make, have you kept making those pens and so on? I know you were outside as well, doing some projects outdoors. What's been going on lately? And a table is what's been going on lately?
Oh, like currently right now, I'm trying to make a metal bench. Just like it's pretty long to go under like a 6-foot window in my friend's apartment. So it's gonna be like a steel base and like a pine top. So that's been kind of challenging. Like the other day, I just put a hole in a piece of metal, so that was fun. Didn't try to do that. So that's been pretty recent. And then I just got commissioned to make some big stuff for a big youth event that's going on down in Malibu. So that will be taking up a lot of my time. I got to make like a 4x8, one of those like retro postcards basically out of plywood, where it says like greetings from Southern California.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So,
And how about video stuff? Have you been putting out lately? No. Yes. No.
I put out a couple this summer. It was kind of like not very many coming out. I was teaching at a bunch of different music camps around, and so I just didn't have time to film. But I just put out like little resin and wood turtles that I made on the CNC, and then before that I did the metal ampersand sign that's like lit up. I think those are really my two recent projects. So.
All right. Awesome. All right. So for the next one, we're going to do it very tricky. We're going to have right? We're going to have Bob Lee and we're going to have Daniel Arjou telling their stories simultaneously, interrupting each other. And go.
Well, I'll go big and see if you can top it. I got a new puppy. That was like the biggest thing in my last few months. And
I was there.
Yeah, I got to pick him up at Doc's house. I drove to Pennsylvania to get the dog from Massachusetts. So that was cool. What do you got, Bob?
Doc isn't the puppy, is he?
I have been cleaning the garage out to make room for my metal working abilities again, and kind of doing some of that stuff and finished putting the wood away that I've been milling. And just kind of living life too, but I'm still looking forward. I'm going to retire in 5.5 months.
All right, you beat me because I'm not going to retire for probably 50.
Oh, I've got a little bit of time on you there, Daniel.
Yeah, we're on different ends of the line. I've just been building beds, furniture like mad. Been very busy. A lot of orders coming in right now. Trying to land some really big ones. Losing my good helper tomorrow, so we're hiring again. That's always a pain in the butt. And
by denying the word, although I appreciate that, but by denying it, it actually shines a light on it. No pun intended.
Just do it then. Just go full hog and
full hog.
All right, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Bob. Do some more.
Oh, I have been doing some turning on my lathe, wood lathe for Christmas, stuff like that. I've also been doing some scrolling. I have a new DeWalt that I've been playing with. Some of that.
I need a scroll saw. Somebody send me one.
Yeah, team scroll saw.
I got a new DeWalt chop saw today.
Do you really, Dan?
I do. I have this freaking antique craftsman thing that's the previous owners, and like it's the one thing he said when we.
All right, you can take mine.
So, oh yeah, awesome. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Send it up with the standard thing. I got a new chop saw, 10-inch DeWalt today because I wanted one so bad because I hate my 12-inch. It deflects too much. And I went to see my buddy in New Hampshire while I was on delivery, Jason Plantanovich or something like that. Plantanovich.
Jason.
Yeah, Jason up there. So he just gave me that today. He's like, I sold him a chainsaw and he gave me a chop saw. I'm like, okay, good deal. Thanks, buddy.
You know how I say his name?
How do you say it?
Wrong every time.
Wrong.
Wrong every time.
I hope I didn't butcher it too bad, but if I had it in front of me to read, I'd get it, but I don't. So anything else, Bob?
Oh, well, just driving at work. I drove almost 150 miles today, which is not a lot, but enough.
Yeah, I did like 200, I think, today.
Oh.
Yeah. Driving's fun. I like it, though.
Well, there's a few other things that went on. Like, I know it's funny because I know most of you guys is, because we talk and hang out and this and that. I know there's a truckload more of stuff like a truckload. Like you went up to like Chicago way with Andy Berkey and you went into this huge monastery.
Was that since then?
What?
Was that since then? I don't remember when I did the show.
I don't remember either, but it just sounds like something good to say because it sounds epic,
Dude, everything I've done is in the past. It's really hard to pull it out. I'm more focused on what I got to do tomorrow and later tonight, you know.
And Bob's been working on projects. He did a case for a flag where he restored, or actually he recreated it from one so that it could match. And you started turning boxes for rings and what. So there's a lot of stuff. I don't get it. You guys are being way too conservative.
I guess I turned my first vessel. I mean, I've been turning spindles and bedposts for a while, and I never turned a vessel, but I finally got a 4-jaw chuck and turned one of those in the past since we last talked.
Yeah. And the mallet.
You did a huge mallet. That thing went over big for a while. So.
And the chair.
I'm working on a really nice chair.
Dude, I know more about you guys.
Maybe you should ask some questions there, Hosty McHosterston.
Well,
I've been trying to come up with the ultimate question to ruin this show, but I haven't. 42.
The ultimate question is 42, or answer. Was it the answer?
The answer to life, the universe, and everything. 42.
So look, coming up, I know that Matt has been tackling this subject, but I want, Matt, if it's okay, we'll tackle how does everyone feel about, the social medias, where do they think it's going, things that they've seen, heard about, and stuff like that, be it YouTube, whatever, talk about that. And if it's a crappy subject, we can toss it and go back to something else. But with that said, let's move over to, we're going to do, and Matt, after, we're going to do simultaneous, the same, Jim Dockrell and Javier Unzueta, back to back, bam, bam.
Oh my God.
How you're going to work it out, I don't know, but it has to be worked out somehow. Go for it.
Javi's been on the land trip. I've been watching that. That's been a great little experience there.
Yep, absolutely. And
I'm trying to convince Javi.
Has a loon on his shirt.
I'm trying to convince Javi to get Gatton to build him a CNC the size of his property so he can just carve everything right out.
Well, I've come close with Colossus. Weren't we going to go to Matt for a second now? I've been doing us now.
I've been up to my eyeballs in plumbing lately. We sprung a leak in the bathroom, a master ensuite bathroom, and while I had it torn up to fix things, we decided to renovate the whole works. So.
And speaking of tearing up and renovating, I bought a 5-acre property up in Central Florida, and I'm tearing apart all the shrubbery and the grass.
I knew of a sailor who was looking for land, and so the captain came up and kicked him in the goolies and said, "There's a couple acres for you."
That's pretty bad. 1 acre of my property is filled with bamboo, so I've been on in numerous rabbit holes lately trying to look for fun projects to do with the bamboo that I'm going to clear out. Well, most of.
Kung Fu Javi.
What's that?
Kung Fu Javi.
Kung Fu Javi. Yes.
Last night we went through a whole thing where I realized that bamboo is in world.
26.
Like you can make all sorts.
21 moves left. I started with 26.
I got a picture for Eloy here for celebrating his 50th show. There you go.
Well, thank you. And is it possible to hand it over?
Yeah, really, eh? Well, I don't drink that. I drink the good stuff.
Oh, Rickards.
Oh,
is it Rickards?
Rickards Red, Irish style ale.
So we know who's getting all spiffy and drunk this evening.
No, I'm too tired. I drove like 5 hours today. I had to pick up my dad at the hospital and drive him home. And he lives 3 hours away from here, and it was an hour to go get him at the hospital. So I've been driving all day.
Rickards makes you dickards.
So
Jamie did a little picture of me on my property after I cleared out. That's what it's going to look like.
Last night we were looking at all the things that are possible with bamboo, and it's funny, but it's endless. Bamboo can be used for everything from toothpicks to skewers to like full-on flooring, and it just fencing, and it goes on and on.
Tabletops, cutting boards. Well, any wood can do that. Structural. It's actually got more tensile strength than steel.
So would you say that the amount of uses just make you bamboozled?
Yeah, it
Hit the drum.
It'd be pretty difficult to weld, though, wouldn't it?
yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I'll put Ashley on that one. We'll see what she can come up with.
So anything else, gentlemen, before we pass it on to?
Yeah. There was a question out in the chat from Steve Twidell. He said, "What is each of the panel's best or favorite project they have made since they were guests on the show?"
Well, did you just do what I think you did? Like, and we've not gotten to Matt, and then the next, and Matt, what do you think?
Oh man, it's all good. Well, I'll say this. Robert Evans in the chat wanted me to say, "Oh yeah." Oh, I guess he likes this microphone. So there you go.
The Reloon mic.
We're gonna. So JP, repeat that, and we'll start with Matt, and Matt can then do his.
Yeah, do his thing.
Yeah.
Right. The question was, what is each of the panel's best or favorite project they have made since they were guests on the show?
Oh, and after that, it's a free for all. So just get in when you want. It doesn't matter if you're rude or not. Just for that question, and I want you to be rude.
Okay. I'll pick that one up. My favorite thing is the desk that I'm using right now in my home office. It took 6 months to build. There's a ultimate office desk video on Awesome Wood Things. Go check it out. It has a walnut end grain edge to it where your elbows would normally sit, and it has a almost 1 inch round over. It looks like a cutting board with a hard 1 inch round over. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I love it. Keyboard height. It is the best thing ever. Took so long to put together. I'm so happy with it. If anyone wants me to do it, it's 10 grand or above because I'm really slow, and I will reject it because I'm not building another one. But I love it. I love it. Say that again.
I was only on a couple of weeks ago. I'm still on the same damn project.
Oh, well, that's all good. That's all good. I've been figuring out how to do some live streams. My Learn Adobe Now is going good, and I have a new show called All Things YouTube, and it is really taken off. People are picking up some good tips to really grow their channel, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely, you provide some excellent tips. I had a, I am by no means, I just hit over 1,000, so I'm a newbie still, but the tip you gave me, it's amazing. Sometimes we just need to hear these things on thumbnails. I was doing everything perfect in the beginning, and then you just get lazy after a while, and you'll see the first half of my videos all have great thumbnails, and then the rest of them just look like garbage. And
it's important.
So I thank you for that refresher course. I'm still working on them.
You try to make a little improvement each time.
Hey Matt.
Yes,
I can't help but feel that is somehow a spin-off of the Good Advice Guy.
I got my roots there.
Yeah, somewhere within that show, somewhere there's a little twinkle in your eye, and in that twinkle is the Good Advice Guy.
There was a lot of Good Advice Guy on the promo I did, Facebook only. I did a 30-second clip on the YouTube algorithm, and I said some bad words. It was a lot of fun. And unexpected. You got to wait for it. It's dry humor. Like it's like one of those things where you watch it, and bam, there's the funny thing. At least I think so.
I got to tell you, Makers Wanted really inspired us because my moving is basically a takeoff from Makers Wanted. Make room for Javi.
Sure.
And I'm just waiting now for Eloy to do a full blown takeoff from You Suck at Woodworking. That's going to be awesome.
Well, I mean, you just got to look at my videos. In a lot of my videos, I talk with a British accent.
I'll tell you what. And comedy is very difficult to pull off. People think it's easy. It is very hard. And I think that Makers Wanted, I think we nailed it. We really did some creative stuff.
Yeah.
And because comedy is like, it's either gold or it's garbage. Like there's no in between. It's really tough.
Absolutely. And 50% of the time we were funny. 10% of that.
Yeah. It's also very subjective as well. What one person finds funny, another person thinks you idiot.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you this much. And I got pushback from it when I've mentioned it on the side, chats and whatnot. But if you add like, have you ever seen on YouTube? Well, they'll have like, I don't know, that 70s show. They'll have the 70s show without the laugh tracks.
Oh, very awkward. Yeah.
Very awkward stuff.
I have to mention, speaking of comedy, I had a video on my channel that was blocked worldwide. You couldn't see it. And it has recently become unblocked. It's my Prince video where I do an unboxing. I lip sync and dance around the shop to Prince's Kiss song.
Oh, it's the best.
It's hilarious.
I remember that. How did it get blocked?
Well, the record company came in and blocked it worldwide, but now it's available. Now, obviously, it's not monetized. I don't care about that. But go watch it. It's on the Awesome Wood Things channel. If you go to self-proclaimed epic videos, that's the playlist. I only have 2 videos.
I'll go and link it into the chat.
Yeah. So watch it before it goes away because
I got to see it before they yanked it. It was good. I was like, oh my god.
I'm personally a big fan of the Awesome Wood Things dance.
Yeah. I remember watching it and went, wow, big swing there, huh, buddy?
I know. One of the comments was, my wife came in and asked what I was watching, and my response was, I literally don't know. Like, that was the perfect comment on that video. I love it.
I don't know.
I gotta tell you, Matt, everybody, I can say a lot about everybody here, but your work, when you do a video, you add, so you're not afraid to explore the ridiculous, the funny, the dangerous, and you do it all with a sense of joy. I really love the work that you do and how you put it. I've mentioned that to you a lot of times.
Right back at you, brother. Yeah, I love your stuff too.
Extreme dancing, extreme labeling, good stuff.
Yeah, it's totally like just you just go for it, and I like the spirit of that. So I want to stop here for a second and mention that we're going to get into the topic thing that we were mentioning, but we do have 2 people. We have Julian Martinez and we have Mark Lindsay that are going to be popping up on the in the show. But for that to happen, we need 2 to jump down. But before, if somebody obliges, that's great. If not, we'll kick somebody out. Either way, those people will be the first ones to get, to answer or talk about the subject, which is social media. What are you thinking? Social media, what's going on with, YouTube and just generally speaking. So anybody volunteer?
Well, I can kick it off.
Like Survivor, Mad Maker Island.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't mind making room.
I got a Bobo.
Mad Maker Show Beyond Thunderdome.
I nominate you.
Put your finger on a scroll saw like Eli.
Oh, burn.
You know what, JP? I think
savage.
Well, you know what? That's
I'm hiding.
That's fine, but guess what? Carl Jacobson also cut his finger on the scrolls, and not only that,
he's a klutz.
Scroll saw Scribbler cut himself too. He admitted it on the show here on the Mad Maker Show. The official scroll.
He did it on purpose. Yeah, just to test out the new blade.
Yeah, Carl doesn't count because he's got great hair.
So then I get the freaking bag.
Cole doesn't count because he's a Turner.
Tina or Ike?
What?
Come on, that was good.
Tina or Ike?
They're not giving you a break tonight. You don't get points for the comedy, apparently.
No, that was good, Jim.
Timing's everything, though.
It's your Canadian accent.
All right.
Hey?
All right. So with that said, can we talk a little bit about social media? So this is what we'll do. Whoever wants to volunteer, they do, but say your piece and hang out a little bit so that the dynamics of the conversation. We do want the other 2 to come in so that they can say their bit as well. We want to see what they're up to as well. But Matt, if he could open up this conversation about YouTube and stuff,
Okay.
If you could.
Here's just a quick little soundbite to kind of kick us off. I mean, if you go back in time just a short while ago, YouTube used to really favor the advertisers, and they were very heavy-handed on the creators. The advertisers said you used a song, boom. sanctions came down hard. At first, they were completely deleting your whole channel. Then there was a strike thing, which you couldn't really argue very easily. And now I think it's coming to parity where, you know, they value creators just as much as they do advertisers. And here's the big and. If YouTube can keep the equilibrium of, you know, keeping the advertisers happy and keeping the creators happy, and I think they're doing a good job, I think it will persist into the future and not be touched by any competitor. But if they make one of those two things angry, one of those two groups angry, creators or advertisers, if it ever skews, I think the platform could be in jeopardy. But they're trying to do a good job keeping everything fair for both those constituents. So that's what I think the future of YouTube is. I think it will persist as long as that, and you can't touch it now. You, as a creator, it's the best thing out there by far. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be unseated. They keep their eye on the ball, keep both those constituents happy equally. And by happy, you know, both constituents need to say the other is being treated better than them. If that happens, that's kind of what they're looking for. That's my opening thoughts on YouTube.
Doc, you volunteered to vacate, so tell us what's your thoughts on what Matt just said, or thoughts that you have independently.
My independent thoughts on that. It seems, and I haven't hung out as much or been on as much, but it seems that YouTube kind of started to turn into network TV.
You're going to do that on my show, on this platform? You're going to do that, dude? Go ahead, continue. I'm kidding.
Wait, just from the outside looking in, I mean...
Well, no, I see what you're saying. Continue.
You know, somehow or sometime my main page went from the things that I actually subscribed to and was into to look what Jimmy Fallon did last night. And look what Jimmy Kimmel did. It was like, I don't really care about, and it was like heavy push on like network stuff or, you know, other big things and entertainment coming from media companies that I didn't give a shit about.
Best thing you can do is I can kind of see what Doc's coming from there. It's like all I ever do is watch making videos. The occasional time I watch a couple of music videos if I want to, but every now and again, like I'll see exactly what Doc was saying, and then not so long ago, you had that KSI and Logan Paul wanting to beat 7 bells out of each other in a boxing ring. And that was everywhere in my suggested feed, right? And then all of a sudden it's 2 YouTubers just because it's a pay-per-view event. I mean, they're YouTubers. And all of a sudden they're putting on a pay-per-view event and it's everywhere. You know? I don't want to see that. I want to see what making videos.
Oh, no. Let me just say this. I don't, you know what? Bottom line, you know, it has to be said. The reason I enjoy YouTube is because I get to know. It's. You could go for a documentary, you could go for this or that, but the people, you know, the interaction, and then you know, I speak to this person, you know, through this other stuff, and that's what they're up to. It's a very personal thing. If they do like a whole Grammy Awards for, I'm not watching that.
But I mean, but let's be honest. One of the reasons that we're in this predicament is because of Logan Paul, because the knob went into a suicide forest.
Right.
That's true. He almost tanked the whole platform.
So didn't suffer a bit for it.
So why should we be seeing him anywhere in our suggested feed?
Yep. Here's another thing too. So you know, I mean, well, go ahead. That's true. I hate that. The other day, I think I mentioned it to somebody here. Maybe it was somebody. I mentioned it. My feed, I go up and it's like lifestyle, and it's like this, and then all the videos are poofy. I don't want to see poofy videos. I could see one poofy video, you know, I could see 1 or 2, but I want to see the woodworking. I want
stop searching for poofy things.
Yeah. All right, hey, I'm gonna pop out now. So goodbye to all the boys and girls.
Yeah. Take
Thanks,
it
Doc.
easy.
And
See you later, Doc.
I wanna officially kick it. I wanna officially kick it over to Ashley because she's been trying to jump in for a minute. So,
Doc,
all right,
See you, little
guys.
Doc.
jump
Take it
in.
easy, Doc.
For that you shall pay, Jim Doctoral.
Whoever gets in first, whoever gets in first, Julian or Mark, it's and then the other one will come in afterwards. I hope they heard that. Ashley, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think with YouTube, I think the whole Logan Paul thing super bothered me was the fact that I feel like it showed that YouTube as a company was favoring money over like what the creators wanted to see happen, because there's so many people calling that YouTube just shut down his channel completely, right? Because he like did this big ridiculous thing and he didn't show really any remorse for it, and then he made like, I think he said he was going to take a big break from YouTube in general to like appease people, and it ended up being like 2 days. And then he tried to come back and make a video trying to save himself. So that really bothers me. But it also bothers me that YouTube or Google as a company, like I get they're trying to constantly better YouTube as a whole, but they keep making changes to it that without kind of getting any feedback. Like my subscription feed suddenly one day, it was showing me like not chronological order, and it was like videos suggested from like someone posted 4 weeks ago. And so just stuff like that really bothers me, where they have like a good thing going and then they try to make changes and don't really say it. If you try to talk to them on Twitter, they'll be like, oh, well, we just released this statement saying all this. But, who's going to read the 8,000 word single spaced, thing that they post?
Yeah, and
so that's just my thing.
And also, do you like look? There's two camps. The freaking cutout. I hate to say it, channels that are like thought through to such a degree that it's all just, to me, it's like empty. Or the grit of an individual, even if they polish, like let's say Bernie, you watch Bernie's videos, it's high quality, but it's him, a person, a human being, and yet he's doing this fantastic work. So you appreciate, you're like, wow, that guy is sitting there and doing it up, and so there's grit involved in it, even if it's at the high level of standards, or you'll have a crazy guy like Julian Martinez too, that he'll go in his shed and he's whacking away and rain is falling in through the cracks of the frickin' storms are driving him away, and you see cows floating through the water and he's still there. You can have that situation, and yet you appreciate because it's a real human. Or you have these cutout things. How do you feel about all that?
You mean just like curated channels, basically, where like people are writing out scripts, or
cows floating through Julian's backyard?
I've got more fish than cows nowadays.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I think me personally, I like the more unpolished videos. Obviously not to where it's like blurry video and then like barely understandable audio, but I think just more real. Because as to what other people were saying, YouTube feels so much now like I'm watching TV. And part of the reason why I watch YouTube is because I kind of got sick of TV shows and how polished they were. Like all the HGTV shows, like all that stuff. It's too perfect, and I think what I liked about the YouTube and the specific channels is, people like Julian showing, the freaking cows in his backyard in the rain or whatever, and just
now,
like.
Now that you say this, people are going to get really upset when I say they're like, where are the cows?
And just showing like mistakes, like showing like, hey, I tried this out and it super failed, but here's how it went.
Yeah, polished is okay, but one or two. The thing about the YouTube, and Matt, I'm sure Matt has a bunch of, and all of you guys, the thing about YouTube to me, and I started back in 2006 on another channel doing music, was that it's true, you formed a sort of community of friends and like-minded people, and you're all dishing out information and videos and things, and it's human. I like that. I like real. It's cool to have the occasional polished to the nines where it's factory fed. I get it. But can you tell the difference, Ashley? I know you can. I know you can, but I'm gonna just ask it, even though it's redundant. The difference between something that's prepared and packaged for you so that you can eat it, and like you're or compared to something that it's somebody saying, "Hey, I'm putting it together. I'm trying this and this." I mean, you could tell the difference, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
like
think
the other thing, not the cardboard thing.
yeah, and I think sometimes it can be almost less inspiring because it's like too perfect.
Yeah, and it's all marketed so that it leads you, and it's insulting. Also, one of the things so you can insult, comedically, you could do that, but to insult someone's, the viewer's intelligence, by offering something that's we know it's on TV already. Screw that. I mean, that's how I look at it. So that's my whole thought process on that.
TV wishes they had the audience of some of these YouTubers. YouTubers are pulling in way more views than many TV shows.
Did you guys see the new Casey Neistat video? I think it was his vlog. I think it was just today's or yesterday's.
I did.
He actually did from the Elon Musk interview.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where he talked about that a lot of the social media, the things that are on there, are like the nice parts of our days. And it's not the sad things that we go through during the day. And so it was really interesting because it's like what Ashley was saying. It's like if it's all this great stuff, and so like in a makerspace. I mean, a makerspace, figuratively makerspace, seeing somebody that has a beautiful shop and all these great tools and things, you can take away, well, I guess, if I'm having a really good day, you guys maybe you think the same way. It's like, wow, look at those great, what a nice shop. Oh man, I want to go out. It inspires me to go out and clean up my shop, and do some, some storage or whatever. Or on a day that maybe I'm feeling kind of down, I'm like, damn, oh great, yeah, if I had all of his tools, I could do, and then it makes me mad, or it makes me, I'm sad because I don't have a nice shop like that. So
that's why of all the shows on TV, the New Yankee Workshop was probably one of my favorites, because it had that perfect mix of it wasn't a perfectly clean shop, but it was the skill involved, which really brought the show together. And whether you were feeling optimistic about organizing your shop because it was clean, or you looked at all the clutter in the background, you could pick and choose, really.
So you're saying it would be more like you'd be on the fence about which way you take it, because everything we say, and it goes back to Eloy talking about the mad makers, because what we see, our perspective is our perspective. It's not, if we make a video and we think we see it one way, I'm going to be really helpful and show some people how to do some stuff. And I think I'm being really helpful. And then somebody takes that and goes, well, if I had all of his tools, and it's like, well, that's not my point. My point is I wanted to show somebody some tips and tricks on how to do some things. And the next thing I know, I'm getting, shredded because I've got expensive tools.
Well, yeah, it all goes back to you can't please everybody. And there's always...
Real quick, guys, I'm going to go so that the other people can join.
Ashley.
So,
Okay.
thanks.
See you later. Ashley. Talk to you, Ash.
When someone says, if I had those tools you had and I could do the same thing, what they're really saying is you're a poor craftsman. They're just not saying it, because I mean, how else are you supposed to interpret that? Have the gumption to say I did a bad job, rather than if I had those tools I could do the same thing.
Well, you could be like me and Sterling and Jamie with the low-end scroll saws doing all these. Okay, maybe I shouldn't put myself into Sterling and Jamie's era, but I mean, we do the same stuff on these very low-end scroll saws. I mean, Jamie was known as the no excuse guy. I mean, people, I literally have people every day sitting there telling me and pushing me to get a DeWalt scroll saw, and I'm like, no, I mean, my scroll saw works. It's fine. In fact, hey, by the way, Eloy, no cuts, and I was working on it today.
Oh snap!
Burn.
Oh man!
Poor craftsman blames his tools. You can make beautiful work with subpar tools.
People don't realize that if a guy has like an $800 miter saw, how did he get that? He earned that through years of skill and building it up and making product and
That's right.
earning that tool.
Well,
Whether
the other
it's
thing that I found out too is that people don't take the time to set up their tools. Like, yeah, there are certain tools that I'm kind of weary on. Not most things from Harbor Freight, but certain things from Harbor Freight I won't do. But nobody ever takes the time. Now, the lower end, I realize the lower end the tool, the more setup time you have to set up. It takes time to make sure the fence is 90 and parallel and all that. You know, you've got to, even table saws, you got to make sure everything's lined up before you can start using it. Everybody just wants to get it out of the box and start cutting, thinking the blade's going to be a straight 90 with the fence and everything else. So that's the other thing that people don't realize too.
I'm still working with a 1986 Craftsman contractor saw that I've modified, and
See?
it cuts straight. It's not powerful, but I mean, I've went through 2 inches of maple with it, and it hasn't kicked back.
Up until recently, Mark Lindsay was working with the same blade on his table saw.
But
we want to welcome Mark Lindsay, but I just want to and we want you to do a little introduction, but I just want to say something about what you're all talking about. Those people that say that they mention that comment of like, oh, well, if I had all those tools, I could definitely do what you're doing and this and that. If you've ever, and I know you have, but you know, it's a show and we have to talk the obvious in case someone doesn't know it. If you go to their channel, all these people, all of them, it's rare, if at all, that you'll find anyone with any content on their channel, except maybe like one video and it's like a soccer team, or you know what I'm saying, or just blank, you know, nothing. They always have nothing to show for on their channel, so it's easy to backseat drive when you got nothing, you know. Sure, it's part of the game, it's part of the thing, but the person with, you know, work behind them criticizing someone doing something that they slightly did in such a god-awful negative way because they get it, they went through that, and so there's that, all that too. I'm sure you guys have all seen, but let's welcome Mark Lindsay. Mark, do your bit.
what's up, Mark?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mark.
Lindsay. You can find me here on YouTube, Mark Lindsay CNC, not that other guy. I'm also on Instagram under the same name, Twitter under the same name, and just Mark Lindsay on Facebook.
Well, right on. What have you been up to?
Oh, well, the big things are we bought the house. We bought the house we've been renting for the last 5 years. So all my time has been spent outside making repairs, I've been rebuilding fence, and yeah, just digging flower beds for the wife, the whole thing. Everything we've spent the last 5 years saying, you know, if we owned this place, I'd do this. Well, now it's time to do this. So that's what I've been doing.
Well,
Mr. Home Improvement.
You're doing something now called like My Left Foot or something now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm also one half of the Trampled Underfoot podcast. The other half is our talented host here. And we release every Tuesday morning on Spreaker.
Wow, dude. You know, I'll tell you what. Yeah, so we do the Trampled Underfoot podcast on Spreaker, and you can, I guess the group is private. It's called Dingle and the Berries. I'm sorry, folks that see this after the fact. It's just that, you know, we're Mad Makers, and there's a group out there called Dingle and the Berries on Facebook, and you can find all those podcasts there.
That's amazing.
You can also
you do another podcast as well, don't you, Eloy?
Nobody watches that one, listens to that one either.
Yeah. It's called. Well, I was gonna say you said talented host or whatnot, Mark, and it's a far cry from Julie, and like it just you get this on one.
I dressed up.
Anyways, with that said,
Now that Mark Lindsay is here and I have some extra support, and Julian put the drop the gauntlet out there on the scroll saw versus CNC.
Let's go.
Where's
Come
my
on, Jamie.
glove?
well, can you, Mark, hit us with so that everyone can chip in? You know, Dan, continue on as well. Everybody, just, you know, the thought of, you know, what we were talking about, YouTube, all this, your thoughts.
Eloy, I'm going to drop out. I need to take care of some things, but I enjoyed this evening. So good night, everybody.
Night,
Take
Bob.
care, Bob.
Okay,
Have a
Bob.
good one.
Good night.
Good night, Bob.
We love you, Bob. Thank you, dude.
Well, to kind of pick up where Julian left off, it's not. Yes, people don't take the time to set up their tools. A good percentage of them don't take the time to learn how to use them.
Yep.
The ability to open a box does not mean you automatically know how to use that tool. And you can watch videos until the cows come home. And if you live in a place totally devoid of cows, you know how long that may be.
Again with the cows, I need to make a cow for my backyard.
If you don't make your YouTube banner a bunch of cows, you're just wasting everybody's time, Julian.
I know, right?
It's exactly what's been said numerous times, and recently, not that recently, I heard Chris Cute say it. Is it the arrow or the Indian? I mean, it's the tool. It's not the arrow. I don't care how fine an arrow you have or fine a bow you have. If you can't hit the target, you can't hit the target. And I've seen some master crafts. I mean, look at Frank Howarth, one of my, if not my favorite YouTube channel to watch. Yes, he has some fantastic and expensive tools, but he's got some tools. Well, I guess some of them were before some of us were born. And that man does wonders, but you notice it in the technique. You don't see it. It's not the tool. It's the skill.
He's an artist and a great craftsman.
When people throw that.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay, Mark. I just was thinking of what you were saying, and you do some CNC work, and Javi does, and several of us do. And I just had a robotics mentor call me on the phone today, and she was interested in getting a CNC router for the robotics team, and she's asking me what recommendations. And we see this all the time. You're already nodding your head. It's like the people pick up they're fascinated with the tool, but they don't know what they're going to even make with it. And I think I see that more and more. Maybe I'm sensitive to the CNC router world, but that they get their their Inventables machine or whatever, and then they're like, okay, now what am I going to make? Now I just happened to stumble, just to be my path just happened to be that I was doing some CAD, some 3D modeling and things like that for the advertising business I was in. And I had these 3D objects, and I kept thinking, well, what can I do with these 3D objects? Because I was doing two-dimensional art with them, outputting photography. And I said, I want to output these. So then I looked for a tool to output, and then I got the 3D printer, and I built a little 12-inch out of plywood. I built a CNC router, just a little test one, just to see what I could do with it, and to see if I could get my ideas and my models that I already had. I had models. I had things that were literally on the hard drive that I needed to get out and carve them into wood or plastic or whatever, and then to look for the tool, which allowed me to then shop for the type of tool that I wanted to get. So when I asked this mentor, and she said she was looking for a CNC, I said, well, what do the kids want to make? And it was like a blank on the phone then. It's like, well, I don't know. Yep. Well, I said, well, think about that first. Are they cutting metal, mostly metal parts? Are they cutting plastic or wood or whatever? And how big are they, going to make? And what do they have? And she says, well, they're still learning CAD. And I said, well, they don't even have a model yet.
If it's for a makerspace, my recommendation, as always, and I hate to, beat a dead horse, but I say it all the time. If it's for a makerspace, the best thing I could recommend is to build your own, and I'll go ahead and plug Dave Gatton's design. It's simple, it's inexpensive, he's done a great job, and there's hundreds of people, including Mark and myself, who have built one, different varying sizes, who with the support out there. And the reason I say that is you're in a maker community. What better way to learn about CNC than to actually build a CNC? If you don't have the skills to build one, you're going to be hard pressed to do well on it. But the best part is, if you buy one and it breaks, you're not going to know the first thing about it. You're going to have to call somebody up. If you build one and it breaks, you could fix it in a heartbeat.
Well, the other thing is the kit, the ones that are kits or the ones that you get plans for, the community will help you fix it. because other people have built it and other people have probably run into the same exact problem. In fact, you're going to get a response way faster than you're going to get a response from a tech support person.
Exactly.
And you're probably going to get 10 people calling, asking you and telling you what to do and how to help you
Absolutely.
out in the community. So it's way, way better to build. Yeah. Even if it's like mine's a CNC router part. So it's a kit.
Yep.
But there's a community behind it. People have modified
I own
things.
2 routers. One is a $9,000 machine. It's an industrial machine. It's a wonderful machine. It takes me a day or two to get even the service person to answer my question. And yes, there's a great community forum out there. But the other one is a Gatton, and I've got a handful of people that I'll put a Facebook post, and within 5 minutes, I'll have somebody calling me up if I ever had an issue with it.
Yeah,
I mean, the support is there.
Just make a mistake on a video, and they watch the comment sections. They'll tell you how to do it right. They all know better.
That's a way to get better engagement is put a deliberate mistake so people can comment on it. More commenting, more engagement. Ding.
That's right. I think I will do that from now on.
A lot of if they say a number, they'll put the wrong number, like they'll have it off by 1 on the screen deliberately, just so someone else.
Yeah, but whether it's learning how to CNC, learning how to turn, as well as much as I rib the guy Steve Twidell is just beyond incredible when it comes to turning, okay. and I truly admire that. And whether it's scrolling, whether it's whatever the case is, and I'll compare them all right now. It's just a simple mode of practice. If you think you can't learn the tool, well, maybe there's some extremes of people who might not be great at it, but put the time in.
That whole line of "if I had those tools" is just an excuse anyway, not to do anything. Because tools are not the limiter to your skill. I've seen guys start carving with X-Acto knives, razor knives, and a couple
Bobby Duke.
And exactly. Or, some other guys out there who've done it as well and picked it up. And as they get better, they know what tool they want to get. They work towards it and they acquire that. And you can see it reflected in the effort they put in. With a better tool, they get a better result.
For goodness sake, Eloy makes a mallet out of pine that looks like Purple Heart.
Right. Yeah. We put in effort. It didn't matter the
Thank you,
material,
Javi.
the tool we had didn't matter.
No, it's
all you have
about the skill.
It all boils down to the same thing. You take big pieces of material, you make them smaller, you reassemble them into an item.
But I like making small
I just
materials.
say that after Julian attacking me with the scroll salsa, and then JP too, like the team up and stuff and all that. I appreciate the mallet. That was such a elegant.
Then you're not gonna like it when I give the history of the mallet. How.
Do a history.
All right, guys. For those of you, most of you know this because you've been in Hangouts. But anybody out there in the community, Eloy made a mallet for the mallet challenge. Now, if you have a picture of it in its early stages, I'd love for you to show it. But he started turning the mallet and he spray painted it an extremely bright red in the middle and purple on the sides. And every time I saw that mallet, I queued up one of the Christmas songs that went because it actually looked like something that a clown would use. For the longest time, we were ribbing him about it. And then all of a sudden, from one day to the next, I see the same exact mallet with an incredible paint job on it. And it looks like Purple Heart.
Yep, that's the story of the mallet. So
he didn't hurt himself with it.
It's fine. You can't hurt yourself with it.
Hey guys, I got a good example of the if I had your tools. I just thought of something because I just saw that Rory and Gerald are in the couple of blacksmiths are in the chat.
Oh, if I had their tools.
So if somebody said if I had your tools, but all it takes is an anvil and a nice couple of hammers. Yeah. I mean, where's your excuse then?
Well, right? I was going to say
it's like, you need a nicer anvil to do some nice blacksmith. No, you don't. That's a skill right there. That's very basic tools.
What I was going to say is going back to, because I know Daniel does 90% of his work by hand tools and all that. I mean, you got to think, what did they do in the 17th century, 16th century, 15th century?
freaking tools I have. Right
all
now.
this art and all this gorgeous stuff that's lasted for years. They use literal hand tools, the same stuff that we'd use, and it was a craftsman style. That's why they spent all those years perfecting their craftsmanship. It wasn't, oh yeah, the king gave me this chisel made of gold.
Right.
I mean,
If you don't figure out how to sharpen it, it doesn't freaking do
Yeah.
you any damn good. So there's some skills you have to learn to do other things, and if you're not willing to invest the time, then you're just going to keep getting the same crap result. So it's time in. Everything's time in.
That's where you're paying for, is for the experience, the years of dedication put it into your craft. Doesn't matter.
You want to learn how to be a good woodworker, in my opinion, start with finishes. I mean, yeah, cuts and all that stuff and turning all that's developed with time. You start with finishes, because a good finish on something is speaks volumes about the person.
Dude, even that is taken care of. You just add polyurethane. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying close on that, because when we start somebody out, the first thing we have them do is sand and try and get the surface to the level that we need it.
No.
And it's not really because it's the grunt work. It's the work that everybody has to know how to do to a certain level before stuff goes to that end process step of finishing. Because that's the most important place to be able to catch errors and fix them, is when you're at that sanding stage. Because if it gets past that and into finish and they start staining it, it's too late. You got to go backwards.
Absolutely. Everything comes up. All the mistakes pop up.
Right. So more than the fact that it's the crap work and no one wants to do it, and I've sanded for thousands of hours and I'd rather never do it again in my life, but I have to. And especially when we have a new guy in, he starts to learn how to do it, then we got to go over the whole thing and look at everything he missed, because it's really the most important step. And you start to learn why all those steps in front are important to do right, so you have less sanding. So sanding's a good place to start for everybody.
Dan, I don't know if you saw in the chat whenever I was in the chat. I will be your helper, man. All you gotta do is move your shop to Texas. Buddy.
You're not even in Texas.
I know, exactly. That gives me more incentive to go and work for you. I can't go further north, man.
Yeah, I'll be serious here. If anybody wants to come up and work for Daniel, you will learn more working for him in 6 months than you will ever learn watching YouTube videos or in any school you could attend.
Yeah. That's why I like in the hangouts when he's sitting there working, when we're sitting there talking, he's sitting there working, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, oh.
Somebody said it earlier, but there is absolutely no replacement for experience, and the only way to get experience is to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie was talking about a CNC earlier. I'll plug him again. Dave Gatton, over on his webpage, davegatton.com. He has an article. It's a separate page that he wrote called Some Things to Consider Before You Buy a CNC Router, because everybody has an opinion. They'll throw out names, they'll throw out brands, they'll throw out whether you should buy or build. But he's got a lot of things to consider over there, like what are you going to cut? Because cutting metal is different from engraving glass, which is different from cutting tile or marble, which is different from cutting wood. They're all 100% different. So you need to know and have a plan in mind, have a project in mind.
Yeah, and 3D carvings and CNC lathing and just plain V-carved signs are three completely different animals as well.
But
okay, can I say something for the CNC guys?
But I will tell you from the get-go, right here and now, the single hardest part of the entire process is getting that project out of your head and into the computer. So
was just about to say that.
Even thinking about getting into it, there are 100 decent programs out there. Download some free trials and start working on them yesterday. You cannot start that part too early. Watch the tutorials, dive into it, and learn.
Learn Adobe now.
Here's what I got to say in favor of you CNC guys. In favor of you guys. When somebody comes up and tells me, oh, CNC is not real woodworking, I tell them, well, it is. And I was like, yeah, you got to learn. I was like, there's so much more involved in a CNC that you don't understand. I was like, you got to think about the hours that you have to sit in front of a computer figuring out and designing your project. But on top of that, you also know exactly what you guys were saying. You also have to know your material. Pine's going to cut differently than wenge, than maple, than walnut, than mahogany. You got to know the material. You gotta be precise on the thickness. You gotta be precise on your designs itself. Because if you put a tab in the wrong spot and you go too deep on the tab and your thickness is, a 16th off, you've done popped your thing. So I will give you guys that, and I do back you guys up on that.
And at the end of it all, we still have to sand. We still have to trim things by hand.
I'm only giving it. I'm giving it about a year or two before somebody comes up with a way for CNC to sand something.
It's already out there.
It's already
out there.
There we go.
Well, I couldn't get an idea from my brain to the computer for the life of me, and I ran CNCs in the industry for 11, 12 years, and that's like setting them up right from scratch. And that's including aerospace bearings that go into Pratt & Whitney aircraft engines. That was one of our big people that we supplied.
Remind me not to fly those.
We're talking tolerances of a single micron in some instances.
Yeah.
Well, it's just another tool to me. I don't even entertain the CNC ain't woodworking argument. I've only been involved in CNC for 4 years, but I've been woodworking for coming up on 50, and yeah, I know I'm old, man.
Wow, you're young, man.
I just wanted to emphasize with that little burst of continue.
I've got grandkids that are just slightly younger than a couple people in this chat right now. Yes.
Yeah, 40
thanks,
woodworking
Mark.
for me.
So
I'm trying to think if I'm the youngest here.
Well, I got a stepson that's turns 45 this year.
Oh, well, yeah, he's older than me.
I'm the baby here too.
So well, anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, experience, man. That's all there is to it. Yeah, you can look at Norm Abrams' shop. He had a laser guided miter saw before they went public, but he learned how to use it, and that's the important part.
Yep,
there's no replacement for experience.
The most important part actually was to wear these safety glasses.
That's right.
Actually,
you're hearing.
And
I want to say the safety glass thing is very important, actually, because stuff flies out, and it could be a very microscopic little piece, and that thing will lodge, and you'll be washing your eye out. I've done it a million times. You're like,
our wonderful friend Marsh was who we've all were in the hangout when he was grinding something. He works with a lot of metal. Marsh Wildman, and he was grinding something, and he had his regular glasses on. They weren't, full-fledged all around, and it came in from underneath, and let me tell you, that was an uncomfortable experience.
Had the experience of going to the ER and having the head locked in like Clockwork Orange and syringe extraction of material from your eye.
I can't have anything around my eye. I can't even watch anybody put contacts in.
Thing in the world.
That's the reason why I put safety glasses on. If I'm working with metal, I have a face shield. I don't play with that. In fact, my glasses actually have LED lights on them. I love those things.
My grandfather was cutting wood, and a wood chip flew up and hit him in his right eye and detached his retina, and he went blind in that right eye immediately, instantly. Wow. It can and it will. It can happen. I mean, to anybody. And
I got a bobo.
People say, well, you'll take out the trash.
Jim, were you scroll sawing, Jim?
Yeah.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Eloy Jr.
I was plumbing.
And next time you'll take out the trash without a lot of back talk.
This one's okay though.
I will say though that I don't scroll saw with glasses on, and I don't know if that's me, but I feel like I don't need to. I don't know.
I didn't do anything with glasses on until I got glasses. That's happened since the last show. I had to get a prescription because I'm getting old. But
I do. I won't be able to do it otherwise.
You don't. So you don't. Well, yeah, you wear glasses.
Well, now I don't have to. And for years, I run everything without glasses. Except for the metal grinder after the incident with getting the extraction with because it's so damn scary.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder about these guys 100 years ago that were doing the woodworking, and they were wearing the tie and the vest and the long sleeves. And
well, that's where they learned all those safety rules, is those guys. And you bring up an excellent point, Jim, to the people who say, well, if I had all those tools, I could do that too. My first response is, no, you couldn't, because you don't put in the time to try to learn the tools that you've got. Walk into any building built before 1900. None of that was done with power tools.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier.
So
do everything I do with the freaking jackknife if you want
exactly
the time and the effort in doing it.
Speaking
go
of jackknives,
go hang around Daniel's. Go hang around Daniel's shop a little bit. He's got some beds in there that were made without all those tools.
Hey, Eloy.
I'm gonna put a call out to everyone along the eastern seaboard to go to Daniel's within the next 3 days.
Yeah.
No,
I've got to go to other places.
Really busy.
Daniel, when are you coming down to Baltimore? You said you were coming down here soon.
No, I sent that bed back via freight. I didn't deliver it. So,
You break my heart, man. You broke my heart.
I'm sorry.
I want to show you
when
my
am I
chisels.
getting my wood?
Your wood. Yeah. Oh, because apparently, according to Eloy, there's no wood that's more special than Harju wood.
Oh no,
that's right.
Yeah. All wrong, Julian.
Especially covered in oil.
That's what Eloy said.
Well, you know what?
And I was not the only one that was in the hangout that night.
Right here, I have it sitting right next to me. This is Harju wood right here.
Did he oil it up for you first?
No, that's dry.
That's why I was a little upset that I didn't get any of your wood when I went to Tony's.
Jamie, the oiling is half the fun. The oiling is half the fun, Jamie. You don't want it pre-oiled.
Is it hardwood?
Scrollers lower the tongue.
All right, so here's a quick test. How far away are all your guys' tape measures?
Oh, crap.
Miles away.
They're next door at this point for me because I'm
Batman over there is the closest one.
Well, it's about 12 feet away, but yours don't count, Hobby. It's from Harbor Freight, and they
It's
don't
over
match.
there
The
somewhere.
numbers don't match.
I gotta have one every 2 feet. So
rulers
I got one in my pocket.
That's fine.
I got this
That's
right
fine.
here. It's close enough.
You
There
guys
you
suck.
Miles away.
Who's got a turned goblet right next to themselves?
I have a turned pen. Does that count?
Oh,
Eloy,
burn,
Eloy,
man.
which one you want?
I have a turned spindle. Does that count?
Okay.
it's not turned. I had to carve it, but this is my.
Damn.
I wouldn't.
Hey,
have
wait a
a
second.
Zoom
I do have a
H1.
turn. Hang on a second.
Everybody's busting out the good stuff.
Matt,
Where the hell did I put
that
it?
thing you just held up, the Zoom H1, if you're thinking about, folks, if you're thinking about getting into doing this, you want to up your audio game, pick you up a Zoom H1 and a lapel mic. They are killer.
I have a
love
lapel
that
mic.
thing.
I haven't tried it yet, though. But I have.
I want to mention a couple of things here.
Where's the knife at, Eloy?
I want to mention a couple of things. Well, I have all the stuff next door, but let me mention this.
Turned.
Let me see, Javi, before we go.
Hey.
Well, that'll do it. That's a badass thing you got there.
Tool time.
Yeah, it's a cup fidget spinner.
Yeah, let's hope it's not full when you fidget with it.
Well, if
Receptacle
I,
tester.
if I had the tools you own, then I could do that too.
In order to scroll saw or a lathe.
Okay, so here's the next sort of question. See what your thoughts are. So a few months back, I was talking to Steve Nealon and a few of the guys here, and my idea was I wanted to do the equivalent, and I've broadcasted it twice, I think, but I got busy doing work repair next door. I've got just a bunch of stuff. So I got the idea to do the equivalent of a home shopping network / makers network, and I put together a bunch of I'm wanting to use the YouTubes in different creative ways, and what the heck, why not try? So the idea is to do constant commercials and let it play live. Like I've seen there's a channel that does music, and it just plays and rotates music constantly. So the idea of this home shopping thing is not necessarily selling directly, but pointing people that sell stuff like you guys and others to their sites as a commercial for them and doing their thing. But there's always the issue with the marketing and getting those views out there so that people see and whatnot.
Is
So
there an
anyway, some
entertainment
of you saw
component?
that. What are your thoughts?
Is there
Matt,
is there an entertainment component to this idea, or is it just rotating ads?
It's like, remember back in the day, we'd sit there in front of the, I don't know if you did, but like you click on and you see the home shopping and they constantly
Well, that
talk
was
about,
they had hosts that
We
were
had some squirrels and stuff in between the ads, if I remember right, Eloy. Yeah, so there was entertainment like between the little ads. You're like, what is this weird little random interlude?
Squirrel.
Kind of like the intermission videos at the drive-in. So that's
Well,
that
I-
kind of thing.
I
think
like
there's-
that where the hot dog jumps into the bun.
Yeah. She likes that too. Oops, sorry. I said that out loud.
the
No, your thoughts.
success will equal how
Here we
Well,
come
Mike
on the
Rowe.
run with
Mike Rowe was a host for QVC, was one of the guys. So and he became big in his sort of makerish way.
He's actually from the
You got
area.
something
He's
there.
not too far. He's actually from not too far from where I live. It's about 15 minutes away. Huh?
In Texas?
No, Baltimore. He's
you
from
can't live in two
Baltimore.
places, man.
My heart
I-
will always be in Texas.
I think if you did a split screen, maybe 1/4 of the screen was the rotating ads like you're talking about. But if you had entertainment like a live stream or even a standard video or something like that, you may be onto something. But people don't turn into advertisements. They go out of their way to avoid advertisements.
You'd have to have 3 or
Yeah,
4
nowadays.
people talking about the stuff
Yes.
or making
So,
fun of it.
And
if
they
you're
all
doing a
have to be
show
cute.
like this, you could do a split screen and, off to one side, be plugging other channels and plugging other makers and things of that nature. But you have to have something. I mean, Matt's 100% right. You have to have something to engage people and give them a reason to stay there. And an ad ain't going to do it.
Do the main thing, like the old Fox News channel with the main thing, the main feed, the sidebar, and the ticker on the bottom, and something on the top to read, and overstimulate the heck out of people, and they won't go away.
I like those ideas. I like
Also, make sure you have very attractive women with nice hands.
Yeah,
That's how
constant
they did it. That's literally how they did it back in the day. Was they had the nice hands. So
So look,
constant teasers.
so the
or
idea
two hands.
the idea also is this. Okay, on the idea is also because frankly, I mean, the idea is this. You have all these things, not to be derogatory towards it, but that are factory pushed out mostly from China, India, which great places and all, but mass produced, complete plastic, everything's the same. And then you have us type people and the things that we do, which are quite, it's a different category for, people that are looking for things that are more, I don't want to say precious.
One of a kind.
So one of a kind. So I figured what is the outlet that does that? In fact, Steve Nealon at the same time, our Neal Media, Makers Media Network, did a thing where all shirts from Makers were to be put in one site, sort of like so kind of along the lines of that. You have your mask, you go to Amazon, you go to all these, everything is like taken care of before you step out of your door. And the handmade thing is sort of left to the side. And people have been convinced that, I'll just go to Walmart and this and that. They've been convinced of it. It's like the mom and pop compared to the Walmart and so on. And I'm figuring, well, there's a little void there. You could, fit in.
Regardless of the merits of what you're talking about, the reality is we live in a wonderful time where what you're talking about could be done with very little investment, if practically none at all. So, the tool services are out there, the tools are out there. You could probably cobble that together, if not on the cheap, for free, and see if it flies.
Well, most of the stuff that I make is because I can't afford to go buy it. So it's a situation where I need this thing. How do I get this thing? Well, let's put it together. I have the skills to do it. And that's
I've got this bamboo. Anybody got any ideas?
Drink.
If you're passionate about it,
Yep, there it is.
happen.
He said the word, get a rope.
So we could do, we'll do the Daniel Harju's shop. We'll do the, all the different, and then boom, bamboo, sold in bundles.
I think Avi should just run a live stream of the bamboo growing.
Everything must go.
Live stream of the bamboo growing.
Bamboo all day long.
I want to get, I want to send a piece of the bamboo over to Steve Twidell, and I want him to turn the bamboo and somehow leave only the round centers, the pogs.
Is that a challenge?
I wonder
Yeah,
how
why
bamboo
not?
would burn.
It's all hollow inside except for the dividers, so if anybody could do it, he can.
Okay, so last bit about this whole thing with
That'd be easy. Just pour resin down the middle.
yeah.
That's cheating.
Yeah. No, it's not. That's being smart.
Is that going to be the new trend? River bamboo?
Oh,
Well,
I'll
wait a
make that
second.
happen.
Last night, Javi, you were talking about that bamboo table and all that, and was that an actual thing that you were thinking of?
Oh yeah. No, I'm definitely my next trip up is at the end of the beginning of every month. I'm now going up once a month, and I've got a bunch of fallen bamboo there. I can load up 2 pickups with it, so I'm going to bring back a load, and I'm going to make one of the tabletops. See how it turns out, and
You need to let it dry
see
out.
if it's.
Does it have to dry?
It does. Normally, the way you do it, not to expand on this too much, but basically boric acid and a borate solution. You soak it, it dries, and that pretty much preps the bamboo. But a lot of this stuff has been sitting out there for easily a year already, and I just got to look for the stuff that's not cracked. And
what are you going to do? Split it and laminate it?
Well, that's I'd like to work with the bamboo itself. I'm not making a solid tabletop. I'm making one with resin where all the bamboo shows. So I'm gonna come up with something like that. A lot easier. I just got to cut it in pieces.
Well,
Steve Twidell has officially accepted your challenge. He's saying, "Send that puppy here."
I will.
And I have to say,
it over there.
Charles Deering also just said that bamboo is technically a grass and not wood.
Big grass.
I
Mr.
never
Deering,
said it
by
was
the
a
way,
tree.
big fan. So
did I?
Big fan of yours.
No, it is.
You
It
could
is
send
a
it to
grass.
Jimmy
There are
to smoke it.
1,572 species of bamboo.
I know a few Canadians that smoke it.
It's edible, or at least many species are. I wouldn't.
You're not a panda yet.
But yeah.
Doesn't grow in Canada.
Getting close.
Doesn't grow in Canada.
But yeah, splitting bamboo, it's really the ones that I have growing on the property are probably, I mean, they have some real big, thick bamboos which have enough meat on them that you can actually split them, plane them, laminate them, and they'll make a nice, wonderful countertop or solid surface of any kind. These are, well, I'll go out there in a second and pull a sample that I have. It's only about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches thick. I mean, in diameter, and
thin-walled.
Thin-walled.
Yeah.
Not much you can do with them. I'm sure if I were to plane them a little and press them all together, maybe, but
and if you've got a lot of dead around, you might find that there's a terminal size in that cycle of growth there. And so if you're seeing, 2-inch ones that are down and dried out, then that might be only as big as they get because of the canopy they created or whatever, and the species that they are. So you might not get big enough stuff to do that splitting thing.
Exactly. I mean, most of the stalks are about 30, 40 feet. I mean, the whole forest it's been growing there for 4 or 5 years, and it's pretty darn tall. Actually, a little longer, probably 5, 6 years.
You know how hard it is to get rid of bamboo, by the way? Apparently, you can't get rid of it.
Find out.
But I know the easiest way to get rid of it is napalm.
Got it back.
But
I'm with Julian. I'd blast.
Yes, the rhizomes are 12 inches deep. Keep asking me questions. I spent a rabbit hole for 1.5 weeks on YouTube on bamboo projects, bamboo growing.
There's the nearest flamethrower shop, Javi. You could use one of those.
This is a bad place to be talking about flamethrowers, Matt, because somebody will take that idea and run with it.
That's what happens when you have a whole bunch of makers.
That's my point.
Hey, Javi, I've got a question for you.
The perfect cap for
Bamboo.
this.
Javi, I've got a bamboo question.
I can make a bamboo table. I can make a bamboo sign. I can make a bamboo night table. I can make bamboo food. I can make
Bamboo.
Bubblegum shrimp.
Can is there such a thing as spalted bamboo?
Did you know that I've actually found spalted plywood at Home Depot once?
Nice.
Yeah, I almost bought it. It was like a 1/4 inch thick. It was almost like the wallboard stuff, the thin stuff, the sheeting, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't like like
oh, it was spalted. I still got pictures somewhere.
maybe it was the tar from the shelf up top that fell and splattered all over the thing, and they washed it off, and no?
Rat urine from the warehouse.
Yeah. So, is there spalted bamboo to answer? Javi, that was.
What? I'm sorry.
Javi, that was a question for you. You said you researched bamboo.
I was reading. I don't know, some nonsense Jim Bashir was putting on.
Okay, well, you're a bamboo expert. I said, is there spalted bamboo?
There is, but not so much, because the thing is, bamboo is very resistant to bacteria and rot. Basically, it's not rot, but when it cracks straight. So, being that it is a grass, it'll have lines. So spalted in that sense, yeah.
Okay. So it'll deteriorate though. It will get
if it's not treated and sealed, it will deteriorate.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna shift gears. I want you guys down the line, give us your just your goodbyes, where to find you. We're gonna wrap it up. We've done it for a couple of hours. We're running up on hour number 2. So hit us with it, starting with Matt and go all the way down the line. Matt, Mark, Jamie, Jim. I mean, and just whatever you want to hit us with. Javi, Doc, Arju, Bernie, Julian.
Just find me on Facebook, Awesome Wood Things. That's where I play. And on YouTube.
I was going to say YouTube.
YouTube and Facebook and a couple other places. Awesome Wood Things. YouTube.
A taco
is
shop.
A social network. People forget that. They think, it's a place. No, it's
a good taco place too. There's a taco place you can find them too.
Yeah, baby. Love me some tacos. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Eloy. This was a good cage match episode.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate you coming on, dude. Hit us with it, Lindsay.
Okay. Check out Scratched Presents Trampled Underfoot on your favorite podcatcher on Tuesday mornings. Or just look for Scratched Presents Trampled Underfoot. But for me personally, you can find me here on YouTube and on Twitter and on the Instagrams under Mark Lindsay CNC. And on Facebook, I'm just plain old Mark Lindsay. Come say hey, come say hi. Thank you for having me, Eloy. This was a lot of fun.
Well, thanks, dude. Hit us with it, JP.
I'm on YouTube at JP Woodwork, Twitter and Instagram at JP_Woodwork. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's about it.
No, hit us. You were gonna say something else. I said awesome just to interject a cool awesome.
No, that was about it. It's just good to be back.
All right. Well, we're freaking stoked that you're back, man.
Yeah.
Stop doing all the marriage and like all that stuff.
Jamie, get back on US time.
I'm not. Yeah, I've got to.
Get back on US time.
All right, hit us with it, Jim.
Jim Dockrell on YouTube, Watertone Workshop on Instagram, and my blog. I'm on Facebook at Jim Dockrell, mostly for personal stuff. And I only need 66 subscribers on YouTube to hit the 1,000 mark. So get out there and click that subscribe button.
Awesome, dude. And well deserved. You got a lot. You're working on a lot of stuff right now, dude. Home repairs and a bench, pretty badass bench that you sawed from tree to bench that you're working on. So lots of cool stuff over there, dude.
The bench is a little bit on hold right now, but I've got enough footage yet for probably a couple of more videos to come up. So I'm not much ahead. So we'll see what happens. If I can get those edited up and put on my channel.
All right. Javi?
Well, guys, you can find me at Javi's workshop, wood shop, YouTube, and I'll be continuing with a few more episodes of Tools for the Unenlightened. Make room for Javi, hoarding to boarding, and over the next 4 years, you will see videos from purchasing a property through building a house, designing a house, building a house, and organizing a shop, because I'll be doing that all single-handedly with a little bit of help from my friends, and I'll be filming it all.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, you have some big adventures coming up, and if you do film it all, it's going to be pretty massive.
Can't wait to see that house, man.
Gonna be fun.
Doc Jared Hildebrandt, hit us with it, man.
Check me out on Instagram at Jared Hildebrandt. That's pretty much all I can guarantee that you're going to get out of me as far as content going forward.
So, Doc, real quick, the Flying 9 Industries on Instagram, is that up now or not?
That is up. I had some weird Instagram hiccup happen where it like almost went back to like a factory setting.
Because I think I tagged that one in my Instagram post. So I didn't know which one to get.
Doc, when you said, because you go like this, you should have seen Bernie's face. I stared at look, listen, Doc, listen. You go like this. Well, it's Doc Jared. You go, it's like, well, it's Doc Jared. You can check me out on Instagram. And Bernie, you look at Bernie's face. You were like, want to do it, think about it. I love that stuff. Finish up, Doc. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know what happened, Julian? I have a new phone, and I may have hit some buttons.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, and switched some stuff. But anyway, at this point, I am at Jared Hildebrandt.
No. No, that's not how you did it. You were like this. Well, if you want, maybe it's Doc Jared. He'll go on Instagram if you want. It was great. I loved it.
Well, no, basically what I was trying to pass on to everybody is I that's probably the best you're gonna get out of me is some Instagram posts for the time being.
Right.
I would like to be one of those Instagram tool people where I just get new stuff and I take pictures of it.
It's got to be the expensive stuff, otherwise nobody's gonna want to watch you.
Now, you don't have to see me; just like be hands behind the.
Well, I just want to
model.
Although that was quite super funny and awesome. If you go check out also Doc's, although he's not been doing many videos, if you check out his videos though, you'll see that he very much is very attentive to the specifics of the video, how you shoot the video, like very into framing things in a spectacular way. So there's a lot there to.
A long wait time in between, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm building it up in my head. It's like a Guns N' Roses album at this point. Yeah. Also, check me out. It's me and three other jerks I know do a podcast called Scratch.
It's not that great though.
No, it's not, but they are jerks. That comes out on Monday mornings.
They have like 5 subscribers. I am unfortunately one of them, but I just you support
the jerks. Try some new ones. They're funny.
I'll just say this before we pass it to Harju. So I'm gonna have to throw this in there just for the heck of it. A few years ago, Scratch got picked up by Blog Talk Radio. They reached out to us. We didn't reach out to anyone. We were just doing our thing. We get reached out to, and the second in command and his secretary, they both, they say, hey, we'd like to bring you on. You'll get the royal treatment. You do, you don't have to pay for a thing. You just do your thing, and we'll get you advertisers, the whole 9 yards. And we got on, that. And then just recently we got picked up, and now we're on iHeartRadio as well, Scratched podcast. Now we got picked up by iHeartRadio now.
Cool.
I don't know, and it's funny because we have like 6 subscribers.
This really, does anybody else get the case of deja vu? Nobody else in here probably but me, but this really sounds deja vu-ish.
I think
no, but I believe I could ask our waiter.
Yeah, no one else here speaks Spanish.
Day down day.
So Javi's showing the bamboo. Let's do the bamboo, then we'll go to Harju, and then we'll work our way down the line with Bernie.
This is bamboo and Harju in the morning.
Well, it's just a piece of this one. This one's just, it's not even one of the clean ones and everything, but I just picked it up as a walking stick.
He's got a purple shirt on like Donatello, and he's got a
it's a stick.
It's got a bow staff. Just FYI.
That's pretty awesome though, dude. I'll tell you what.
Well, I'll be bringing a whole truckload. Inch and an eighth, inch and a 16th.
Heck yeah. And is that the thickest that you can find out there?
I beg your pardon. That's a rather personal question.
Well, you can share it. It's the Mad Maker Show.
This is about average, I would say, for most of the stuff. There's some thinner, and there's some as thick as an inch and a half or so out there. They're all, like I said, they're all about 40, 50 feet tall. I really haven't paid much attention to it. I've walked through it 3 or 4 times, the forest, but I'm next trip up. I've been I'm step by step, and the next step is bush hogging and clearing the brush and the land, everything that's not a tree or bamboo.
All right.
Say, technically, would it be considered a forest if it's technically grass?
He's got the world's deepest lawn.
Well, it's the world's deepest lawn, but it is classified as a forest by everybody that I've ever seen on YouTube. And Chinese bamboo forest. Well, bamboo forest is a term, so a forest of grass.
Well, hey, we'll call it a forest.
I wonder what the definition of forest actually is.
All right, so Harju, hit us with it, man.
Oh yeah, I'm at Harju Daniel on Instagram. I do some pretty regular updates there. Daniel Harju on Facebook, so I got a regular page too. The Country Bed Shop online, it's countrybed.com, and we also have a Facebook page. You can check it out. I have a YouTube page as well. I don't do much with it. I think I get like 70 subscribers last I checked, so that's pretty good. I'm almost at the 100 mark. Someday I'll put some more content there when I have time. But that's pretty much it.
What's the YouTube? Someone was asking in the chat earlier.
I think it's just my name. I think it's Daniel. How do you at YouTube? On YouTube?
Wait, Daniel, can you please say your last name the correct way?
How do you?
There we go. For those who didn't know.
That's how you say it. It's a roll.
How do you? How do you?
How do you?
Go sauna, how do you?
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I sure do like my sauna. At least Jim can say it right. If you say sauna to me, I'm going to be really mad. So.
All right. Sauna.
So Harju, dude, I've gotten quite used to saying Harju, and it's not that, and yet you said it's okay. That's a whole can of to open up there, because
I expect the whole world to learn Finn just to pronounce my name correctly. So we let it slide.
Well, in any event, for you guys, check out Harju's website, Country Bed. And just awesome work, beautiful reproductions, antiques. So thanks for joining us, dude. Let's see what Bernie has to say. Bernie.
Oh, okay. Well, Bernie Solo. This is my logo, and you can find me on pretty much everything that Works by Solo. So I branded it in a way that it's the same on everything. So Works by Solo and worksbysolo.com. Also Facebook's a mystery to me. So I have a page that's the Works by Solo page, but I also Bernie Solo on Facebook. So there's probably more of me there. So, and I think I'm in a race with Matt to see who can get to 5,000 subscribers first on YouTube. Aren't we both about 43 something, Matt?
Correct.
I think so. Yeah. So it's not a race. I'm just serious. I was just saying, I think that you and I are close there. So, and then I'm getting right up to almost 3,000 on Instagram. So anyway, just keep plucking away and putting the content out there. So please check it out. And share, if you like. Appreciate it. Thank you, Eloy, for tagging me, getting me into this. This was fun.
Oh yeah,
a lot
man.
of fun.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Well, like I said, I was gonna say this at the end, but I'll just say a bit. Of course, I appreciate all you guys, coming, and the two that jumped out. Well, it was Ashley and who else jumped out quickly?
Well, Doc jumped out.
It was
Doc
me.
and Doc jumped out.
Bob.
Bob,
And Bob jumped out again.
And then Bob jumped out. Yeah.
I jumped in as soon as Bob jumped out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So let's. Julian,
Bamboos can be certified as a non-timber forest product. So technically, it can be a forest.
Okay.
It's on the
Officially,
internet, it must be true.
Yeah, I'm down.
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
Buongiorno.
Hit us with it, Julian Martinez.
The second.
I gotta mention, Eloy, that I've played some of your singing and your original tunes on music that you have out. My wife likes your voice.
Oh, awesome!
So, a shout out to Eloy for his music.
Absolutely, and for those of you that don't know, he also has some relaxing music YouTube videos out there, and it's just I know Steve Nealon meditates to it while he's on the computer. I know I fall asleep to it sometimes. It's quite relaxing.
And let's also mention the music packs he has, royalty-free music, available on his website, rockandwoodworks.com. Check it out. It's some good stuff.
I've got one or two of them. 1 or 2 packs.
Yep. All right. Well, appreciate that, guys. Well, hit us with it. Julian Martinez.
I'm Julian. You can find me on Instagram as 5x30 Workshop. Recently changed. On Instagram. On YouTube, I still got to figure out how to put it in the YouTube thing, but it's if you search 5x30 5x30 Workshop, you'll find me on YouTube as well. Not much there. Just trying to get better at creating content and putting better videos out there. Hopefully soon getting a web page and a Facebook for it. Still working on it. I have an Etsy, but don't have anything on it yet. Still working towards that. And yeah, you can find me in most of the other groups. So that's it.
Yeah, dude, and also to mention that what you do, so you have a lot of connections with other makers, as we all do. You have a lot of disciplines within what you do, and you're kind of like me, gun ho. You're willing to go into it if it's scroll saw, if it's the lathe, if whatever craziness, and you go after. You just showed a couple of turned cups that you segmented and put together. So there's a lot going on there. You have a lot going on Instagram. Let me see.
Well, that's the epoxy and maple turned goblet. This is a ash goblet. This is a maple Paduke bottle stopper goblet. I just finished that one today.
Yeah.
But I try to get a lot of different.
A bottle stopper goblet that saves time.
I need more work on it because I actually want to make it to where you can actually take a shot out of it.
Yeah, it looks like a shot glass.
It kind of, yeah. I want to do a little bit more to it, but yeah. I want to literally get as many disciplines as I can into one thing. That's why I try throwing epoxy, scroll sawing, lathe work, building. I'm actually trying to push myself into doing metal work and actually welding, but I need to get a welder, and once I do that, I'm just going to jump in. So, yeah, I do whatever I want to.
It's
I do what I want.
It's good that you changed your name to Workshop, at which Steve had recommended, and we were kind
A
of like,
couple of people would recommend too, but yeah, Steve helped me push for it.
dude, did we not sit and
Yes.
argue with you forever to try to get you to look at it?
Who was it? I think it's Patrick the other night was like, you know what? Don't even ask him. He's one of the most indecisive people I know. I was like, and no, I'm not. But I take a while to make sure I don't want to say believe in something, but I want to make sure it feels right to me. So that's why I take a little while to make sure decisions are decisions.
So you changed it. So are you good with the art for that shirt? Is it up there? Or it's not up there. The art.
Yeah, that's not up there. Yeah. That's good.
Do you want that up there?
Yeah, make sure it just says workshop instead of Woodworks. So
Okay, we got that covered. All right, good. So look, we're gonna wrap this up. I just again I want to mention what I mentioned at the start. You know, you guys, and I'll just say this as if nobody's watching other than us. You know, I really appreciate the connections that we've made, all of you. We've had a lot of conversations, and I look forward to more. We joke a lot, and we shoot the breeze a lot, but there's good vibes, and I really appreciate you guys for what you do and how you do it in your specific ways. And so I'm just a very appreciative person that this sort of thing can happen. And I want you to know that you guys are freaking awesome. And same to Ashley that came on earlier, and Bob and the rest of you guys out there. You all, if I, again, like I said, if I interact with you, well, you know, you're on my mind and present, you know, as friends. So good vibes to everybody out there. Have a great week. We're out of here. We're freaking out of here. Say goodbye, guys.
Okay,
Goodbye, guys.
adios.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Good night. Thanks, Eloy.
Good night.
Bye.
Everybody's Gracie.